Greetings, Earthlings. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing so very well today. This is Pterodactyl and I'm Zac. I am a clairvoyant psychic and I share my gift here on YouTube to help encourage you guys to bring out the best in yours. In today's video, I wanted to just give you guys a little bit of encouragement on your path, and we're going to take a look at how you can better channel your divine gifts. I believe that everyone comes here with gifts to share, and sometimes we just need a little bit of confirmation or encouragement to bring out those gifts and to help them really shine. So we're going to take a look at an ancient gift that you possess. We're also going to take a look at something exceptional about yourself and basically really look at your potential from a soul's perspective. So if that sounds good to you guys, go ahead, keep watching. Give this video a big thumbs up. Thank you so much. It really does help my channel. Now let's get into the pile selection. So, you guys, I love to have a big bowl of nuts around the holiday season. I don't know, it's so nostalgic for me. Maybe it is for you guys too. So let's choose these piles. Okay, so I'm feeling that pile 1 is going to be this pecan. Okay, I'll give you guys a close-up in just a second. So pile 2 is going to be a hazelnut. This little hazelnut. Okay, and then pile 3 is going to be a walnut. Alright, so as always, before you choose your pile, it's a really good idea to just ground your energy. Now, that can look like turning the lights down low, or some people like to take a couple deep breaths. I really like to light a couple candles, but that process could still look different for you. Just make sure you do make an effort to ground your energy, because when you do, it really gives us the best chance to link up in time and space so that I can pull through the most accurate and useful information. So once your energy is grounded, choose between the piles intuitively, and I will meet you at your reading. Hi, Pile 1. Welcome to your reading. I hope you guys are doing so well today. Today we're going to look at channeling your divine gifts. And I've already drawn a couple cards to get us started. I hope the audio sounds better today, you guys. I have a new mic set up, so I recognized in my last video it sounded very quiet and echoey, but new beginnings here with my mic, so I hope this sounds better to you guys. So the first lens I want to look at is representation of your potential. So basically, the entire purpose of this reading is to get you to recognize that you are enough, and the highest goal would perhaps be to get you to step into a whole new level of your power. And so in this reading, I might reveal to you things you already know about yourself, and you could use that as a personal confirmation, or I might reveal things to you that you've been getting signs and symbols about lately, little hints. And so this could perform as synchronicity for you guys, and that could be a confirmation for you. So let me kind of just take a peek at the imagery going on here. You guys have the energy of a wanderer. You guys have very impressive energy. The first thing that's coming through is the capacity of your soul. And I know that's not necessarily like a divine gift or anything of that nature, but what Spirit is showing me first is it's like you guys have a really strongness to your soul. What is this? It's like Spirit's showing me that like some crystals, like selenite, you can't put them in water because they dissolve, but you're a very, very hard crystal, like clear quartz. And that's the first thing that I'm being shown, is that there's this real strength and capacity of your soul to endure hard times and difficulties and not be dissolved, right? Like a soft crystal like selenite or something similar. It's like you can be put into caustic environments and not be degraded. So there's a real quality to your soul. I guess by quality, I mean like durability and, yeah, I hope this is making sense. It's like if you go out and buy, what's a good example for this? Spirit's just showing me one is like handbags. You go out and buy a discount handbag, and that pleather is going to scratch the first time anything happens to it. But if you bought like the real deal, and not that I support leather or anything of that jazz, if you went out and bought the real deal, it's going to be able to stand up to scratches and wear and tear a lot longer. So there's a real quality to your soul, a real strength, and endurance comes through, but it's a little bit bigger than that. It just feels like you guys have a really big capacity to do anything, right? I hesitate from saying do work in that moment because I feel like when we say things like you're here to volunteer, or you're here to do work as a soul, you're here to do change humanity for the better, all those things, I feel like there's the focus is just slightly off, and it really bothers me. Because we're individual sparks of consciousness. Yeah, we can elect to help humankind and mankind and want to serve the universe, but that's not necessarily like, I feel like, the most perfect focus. And I don't want you guys to get caught up in these grand ideas about having to save everyone and be something for everyone, and too much largeness of purpose. Because we have free will, and it's, for some reason, that's just really important for me to share on this channel. So I'll get back into your energy. Okay, so let's look at the potential. Okay, so you have potential for real change and transformation, okay? I feel like, incarnate, because I get the energy of a wanderer. I feel like you incarnate into certain lines, ancestries, in order to, as a volunteer, put your strength and capacity of a soul to the test in order to really do and enact positive change in people's lives. So you feel like the black sheep in your family. You feel like someone who just sees through all the BS of the world and sees how so many things could be changed easily, simply, if we didn't have our focus set on things like money, etc. And so I feel like you guys volunteer to incarnate into different family lines in order to make those shifts that just aren't happening, right? If I see just like a family line who just perpetuates the same trauma and karma over and over and over again, unable to escape it. And it's like you come into the most desert of deserts and cause things to grow and to flower and for soil to be created. Now I'm speaking in metaphor, so try to see through that. So that's beautiful, right? Because I have like this sense of awe and respect for you, because you it may not be every single incarnation, it may not be this one, but you have a strong history of going into very difficult situations and being in almost like a pressure cooker and never being dissolved. Your flame, it never blows out. You have a real strength to you and bound determination to you as well. So your potential could be summed up in, all of what I've been touching on. I'm speaking about energy, so of course it's not going to be hard, fast, quick, to the point. I feel like I'm just describing like the essence of your soul. And so you can go into very difficult situations, be in very unharmonious situations, but by the end of your life, you experience great harmony. And that's a result of you being yourself. And sometimes we can really distort what we're supposed to do on Earth, really, when it comes down to it. And of course, this is just my opinion, but when it comes down to it, the biggest thing that anyone needs to do is to be themselves. And of course, that sounds cliche or trite, but it's true if you can peel away all the layers of disillusion. Because when someone's being themselves, they're not being brought down by anyone's energy. They're not being mistaken for being anything other than authentic and true and honest. And that's a very high frequency and vibration. And of course, because you guys are put into very disharmonious and unfavorable situations, it's very difficult for you to be yourself. But your greatest potential is that you can see through all of that crap, and it's like you don't care. And whenever I say you don't care, it's always in a much grander context. It doesn't bother you. You're not bothered by it. You may for periods of time hide who you really are or a part of yourself, but it's never forever, and that's what's so impressive about you. That's why I have like this sense of awe and respect for the soul that I'm reading right now. Because it's very impressive. It's not, and I also feel like it's very common for us to think that being ourselves is no biggie. But there are so many people who are constantly influenced by low emotions like annoyance or guilt or greed or jealousy, and are always looking outside themselves to feel satisfaction. It is a truly evolved soul who can feel everything about themselves, the power of themselves within, and not need to be anything for anyone else, even if it does at time make you feel like the black sheep or like you're always causing quote-unquote problems. Or when I was younger, it's reminded me of like I was just it's not me labeling myself, I guess it's my parents' words. I was a back talker because I could just see through all the BS that my parents were under. And not to paint them as bad people, but I just knew. I just knew that I was correct. And this is not coming from an overinflated ego or anything of that nature. I just knew from a soul perspective that I was correct and that the world really needed to change and that it is very ugly. This is you guys. This is you. And I know that some of you wanted to come here for some like really cool newfangled like idea of your divine gift, and we'll get there for sure, but I just wanted to take a couple minutes to describe to you to help you remember who you are as a soul, right? Outside the meat sack that we all wear during Earth incarnations. Okay, so yeah, your potential is to heal major generational trauma, okay? And you bring a softness to this planet that is necessary. You remind us, you remind humans that we have the ability to choose at all times between doing something that's based on selfish intentions or evil or negative or positive vibrations, truth, harmony, light, those kind of concepts. And you're kind of not concerned about things happening overnight. You know that you just need to be the change you wish to see in the world. And again, that's not a very easy task. Okay? Something else about your potential is just sheer transformation. Okay, because you guys, your cards are Ant, which talks about patience. And you also have Spring Equinox with rebirth. You have Chiron with healing. You have Clouds with shapeshifting. Let's read the Chiron healing card just real quick. Healing powers, growth, amends, release, personal development, inherited issues, self-doubt, generational trauma, shame, sensitivity, forgiveness, superpowers, divinity, cleansing, softness, and pain. So you guys are like the heart of empathy. That was cool. You guys are the heart of empathy. You are carrying like the essence of love and compassion. You have that within you, and it never burns out. That's what I mean, I think, when I say you guys have a quality to your soul and a capacity. There is just this love in you that never goes out. And at times, if you feel like you're not the most compassionate, loving person, this comes from a broader soul's perspective between right and wrong, truth and deception. You lay very close on the spectrum, almost all of the way to the side of truth and light, right? Because there's always, this battle between light and dark. We all have light and dark aspects within us. The true essence of your soul is very, very light, right? You may have ambitions to be an angel someday in your life. In some future timeline, I feel like you guys are angels. That's so cool. Never gotten these kind of messages before, but let's not forget that there's a real emphasis on being placed in darkness, though. And this is the energy of someone who perhaps any sort of person who's underserved or comes from lack or experiences difficulties in life based on who they are, for example, sexuality, but it doesn't have to be that. There could just be like physical abuse or trauma, or just really oppressive places that you've lived and really oppressive, abusive people in your life, or just really unfair treatment. You always find yourself in the beginning of your life in those places, but that's because you have that diamond strong quality to your soul. And so you're the only people who can deal with that and not lose track of your path, which makes you a very powerful weapon in the fight between good and evil. A weapon was a very interesting choice. It came from Spirit. Doing a little bit of channeling this morning, you guys. Let's move on. Let's talk a little bit more about your potential. So I think that you guys have a superpower with healing. And this could be something very real, tangible. Kind of think of people who are energy healers. Reiki is coming up. Healing with pranic energy. Things of that nature. I think that you guys, if you were to truly... and I think this is already true for the majority of you. If you really know yourself from a soul's perspective, I think that you could pick up energy healing on the side and really learn about that, because you have this real ability to take ugly and to transform that, to take, the ugly process of change and birthing and to really move and shift that energy. It's something that you guys... It's very intrinsic to you. It's a very, very powerful ability of yours. And for some of you, if this is not really obvious in the physical way, it's just you simply being you. You cause massive shifts in people. It's the words you choose, the way you express yourself, the art you make, the way you wear your hair or fashion, the way you walk, the way you talk to other people, your ideas that you bring. There's something along those lines that's very healing to other people. I'm seeing the energy of a kid going to school, not having many friends, but there's that one person in the class who's kind of like the jokester. And that jokester, it like always diffuses tension, always brings lightness to situations. And that's the energy that I'm picking up on for you guys. Not that you guys might consider yourself as comedians, but it is that trait where you make those who don't have a lot feel very seen or heard, or like there's a place for them. It's very healing to be around you and in your energy. But to go back to something I was picking up on a while ago, I think that you guys, some of you are wanderers, and you just elect and incarnate into difficult lines because of that. Spirit showing me that the keel on a sailboat, and yours can't be removed. There are some keels that you can lower into boats and they can be removed. Yours is built into the ship. And so it's like, no matter how hard that wind blows, no matter how high the seas rise, you will never capsize. You will never be turned over. You will never lose that essence of your soul. It's like this fire of light and love in you that burns really strongly and deeply. And so you incarnate into lines that have a lot of generational trauma, and you're very aware of them. They almost like attack you, those feelings, and it's just you eventually go into a period of your life where you were either like me, where you just call things as they are at the cost of everything. It doesn't matter to you. You just know that you have to light up what's wrong. Or you push it away, and later in life, you approach it from a different perspective. Okay. What else? Yeah, with the ant there, you shoulder a lot. The ant can carry many, 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 many times its weight, and for many, many, many miles, and has, a colony of ants has the ability to strip a forest over time. Think about a forest, think about an ant, here's an ant, and I couldn't even on camera show you how big a forest is comparison. It would take many screens to do that. And so I feel like you guys have a really strong capacity to carry a lot in this lifetime and to bring beauty. That's a big one too. The emphasis here with rebirth, you really bring a lot of beauty and creativity. I'm being shown the iridescence of a raven's feather. Think about that. It's black, kind of black, but when you tilt it just right in the light, it iridesces, and it's like you show that to humans. You show that magic that already exists in real life and can be tapped into. You show that and reveal that to other people. And you also, at your best, show that magic exists within every single one of us. And at your best, you inspire people to cultivate that magic themselves and to bring it out themselves. Wow. Yeah, that's why I'm so impressed by you guys. So let's move forward. I have off camera, I have a couple different lenses to just spark some channeling, something exceptional about yourself and an ancient gift that you possess. I think I've covered those. I think I just sort of let myself speak openly about who I'm feeling, and all of those came out. So let's move past those because that feels really beautiful. And I want to, if you hadn't caught on, your ancient ability is healing, okay, but it's also your diamond strength. It's the keel that you can't, take from your ship. It's also shape-shifting. So I think one thing about yourself, Spirit's showing me that if you have never experimented with changing your appearance, you could do that. And taking on slightly different personas on for size. And there's this message coming through about just because you are a certain way doesn't mean that you have to be that way forever. And then just a reminder that as you change, based on what that vibration is, people will either be attracted to or repulse or kind of like inspired by it, for better or for worse. So you could inspire healing in other people, and what that would look like on the outside is them kind of being like, why do you act like this now? Like, why do you look like this now? This is different. And that's just, you can roll with it, but I just had a reminder from Spirit to not let that really bother you. Okay, but also to, it's an invitation to explore changing something about who you are. It could be the way that you talk, the way that you carry yourself, the way that you wear your hair, the way that you dress, little things like that. Almost a little bit of a reminder that sometimes life can be mundane for people like you. And so when you shift up things, it can kind of remind you about the iridescence on the raven's feather. So you don't have to always just be one tone, right? You can be multifaceted. And yeah. Beautiful. Okay, so I want to take a look at where you could stand to be more present. In your career sector, with things that take time to build, okay, because the ant is all about patience. And what I'm feeling like is that when things are moving, so basically to answer this very quickly, where could you stand to be more present? It's quite literally in the present moment. It's with things that move slowly. Is this in camera? Just give me 2 seconds. Oh, it is. Cool. So one thing I'm picking up on is in where can you stand to be more present? It's where things move slower in your life. Capricorn energy, building things very patiently. I think that what Spirit's showing me is that you guys could stand to develop a little bit more patience. And what I'm seeing is it's actually you kind of, I'm seeing like an orb, and the orb has just little tiny specks once in a while on it of black. And that black is is Earth, and people's belief systems being imposed on you, and just the fact of living on Earth, all the different nuances. Sometimes you can hold on to things that you don't need to, and it's time to cast those off from time to time. Those things that you can hold on to give you feelings of urgency and that you need something else. And what Spirit's showing me is that just have a little bit of a ritual to cleanse off those feelings from time to time, especially the ones that have to do with urgency, or that you're losing time, or that you're behind, okay? Because I feel like there is true patience within you, but that orb I was being shown is sometimes those little flecks of paint do hit you and stick. And so they bring you out of that element of patience. And so Spirit just wants to bring your attention and focus on what you're building and recognize that it's in the long run. Spirit showing me the emphasis again on a tiny ant or an ant colony having the ability to strip a forest over time. And so what I feel like is to remind you guys that your incarnation, it's not like the world's going to shift immediately. It might take multiple other people. And in fact, there are multiple other people on the planet just like you who are doing the exact same thing as you. So strength in numbers just came through. And just remember, you're a part of the whole. I think that's why I was brought to bring up that message that bothers me sometimes about these feelings of being volunteers and doing God's work and having to blah 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 blah. Sorry. It's a reminder that you guys are part of a greater whole, and it's okay for things to take shape over time. And especially in your life in this incarnation, anything that has to do with your career, anything that takes time to build in health or finances and career, try not to prescribe success or describe yourself based on your worldly successes, because there's something way grander about you guys, like way grander. Okay, so right, the energy of a wanderer again. So that's where we can stand to be a little bit more present. Now I want to know how to bring out this talent of yours, this skill of yours. Okay, so let's just get a little pulse on that. Judgment. Of course you would have something so incredibly beautiful and grand like judgment. I'm literally, this is a first, I'm seeing you guys as this angel. Wow. And these are all the sleeping people on earth. Didn't I say early in your reading, I feel like I was like, you guys are going to be angels eventually. Or, because the future, past, present happens all at the same time, you guys quite literally probably are angels in another dimension. I see you guiding from above, right? This is so beautiful. So how to bring out your talent and skills? I think it's by being a guide. I think it's quite literally having an active role. Because I see this angel, is it Raphael? It might not be. With a trumpet from above. And so we can see the little sound lines right there, reverberations. And so I feel like you might have an active role in getting people past this crossroads where they leave behind a life that's devoid of color and love. See how gray everyone is? And you bring them from this above. So you inspire in them divinity. You also have an ability here. I am seeing superpower and divinity popping. And so there's this essence of rebirth coming through as well, because you have spring equinox with rebirth, and you have these souls rising up from the coffins. And so I feel like in this incarnation, you guys are almost like guides. Some of you might take active roles, but again, this could just be simply you standing in your authentic power. Angels represent authenticity and uniqueness of the soul. You standing in your authentic power is what could inspire people. If you don't feel like you're someone who wants to be in the public eye, it would be what I just spoke about. It could also be, though, someone who is very much in the public eye and makes moves towards being seen, heard, writing books, being on podcasts, making videos, doing tarot readings, doing healings as well. Okay, so I also just got a quick message that distant healing is something that you guys could do. If you're someone who considers yourself highly empathic and very sensitive to people, you can do distance healing, time and space, that's just a human concept. I think that you guys are evolved beyond that. So you guys could do a career in distance healing. So how to bring out your talent and skills? I think making a strong connection with your spirit team as well. So everyone has a spirit guide assigned to them, and everyone has, the spirit guide chose you, but everyone has a guardian angel that's assigned to you, and those can never leave. They will always be with you. And there could be many. You guys could have many other angels or guides very interested in you, and I would be very surprised if you guys had a small team, because I pick up on the essence of a very gorgeous soul. So you're going to attract a lot of very interested spirit beings, people on the other side of the veil. So developing a clear connection with them, because you guys have those lines, those sound that I'm seeing coming from the trumpet, and it's touching this individual. So I'm getting this concept of like being able to be in contact with your spiritual team. So this, how can you bring out this talent and skill set? Meditation for some of you, but in the understanding that you're meditating to get a clear and quiet mind, to understand what sound feels like, to be in communication with your spiritual team. So having a real strong connection with them, calling upon them, calling upon them to assist you in your own healing. If you pick up debris from souls from time to time and you feel like there's something that's stuck on you, remember that orb I was seeing with the little specks of black on it? You can call upon your divine team and ask them to remove it from you. I do this when I go to sleep. You can go outside and plant your feet on real earth in the dirt and grass, and also ask Mother Nature herself, remove that from your being, from your soul. So a strong connection with your spirit guides and spiritual team, developing that language with them as well. These are all of the ways that I see you guys being able to bring out your talent and skill. So one last message that I want to look at for you guys is reoccurring messages, signs, or feelings from your higher self. Okay, so these are kind of little hints, little Easter eggs that your higher self drops from time to time to remind you of this divine gift that you were born with. Okay, so the first thing that I'm picking up is clouds. There's something to do with clouds or rainbows or magic. Okay, something about, you guys love fog. You love kind of like the nebula. Like pictures of really distant stars and galaxies, and the colors on those gases that we've been able to capture these days more recently. You guys love looking at that and sparkles and the stars. I think gold or glitter, those are really very, those are a lot of signs and symbols and feelings from your higher self that they send you. I think that there is a particular flower that you like to see. It might not be white lilies. It could be white roses. It's white though. Okay. I think that there are little white flowers. Maybe, what is that? Snowdrops. Your guides might send you snowdrops as well. Let's look for some other signs and symbols. Rabbits. I think that you guys like rabbits or hares, especially hair. Yeah. Think about a hare, like, really scraggly, craggy looking hair. Alice in Wonderland is coming through. Ants could be a personal sign for you. That's one of mine. Whenever I'm thinking about something and I know that I'm connected with a higher chakra, I've got a little question on my mind, I will just find, literally, there'll just be a little ant that's crawling at me. Or I'll be looking down, unfocused, because I'm thinking with a higher chakra. And when I come out of that, I'll look down and there'll be an ant that's just like crawling across. That's kind of how these signs show up. I think angels could be important to you as well. Yeah. Let's finish this out by drawing a couple more of these little signs, symbols, and synchronicities. I'm just going to reach into this box. It's got all those little tiny messages, and I'm going to just draw out a couple for pile 1, please. Oh, this feels good. Okay, so you guys have A for ant, A for A things, right? You may have airplanes as well that are personal signs and symbols. A little gift, a little present. That's one of them. But to me, this talks about your gift. I feel like Spirit shows you people who are healers as well. They show you the very specific, kind of like literal translation is coming through. So they show you very specific people who do healing or the act of healing, or books will show up about healing, about trauma, about counseling, about therapists, therapy. You see a bunch of those ads or books, or run into therapists, or make friends with other healers and therapists as well. Oh, I love this one. Wearing your heart on your sleeve. That feels so much like you guys, because you have this core, this real core of compassion and love to you. Last message, signature. Oh, you guys might really enjoy drawing or sketching, and you might, when you were very little, really loved practicing your signature. That's the final one. For you guys, pile 1, I really hope you enjoyed this reading. Thank you for spending a little bit of your time with me. Of course, I book private clients, and you can book your own private psychic reading following the links and information below. Or, if you don't want to talk to me over the phone, you guys can book a themed tarot reading, much like this one, in audio, text, or video format. All of that information is down below. If you've made it this far into the video, you can give me a big thumbs up. Thank you so much. It really does help my channel grow. It helps me go far in the land of YouTube. And I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, wherever you are in the world. And until next time, stay divine. Hello, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading. I hope you guys are doing so well today. We're going to take a look at Channeling your divine gifts. And we're going to take a look at this through multiple different lenses, starting first with your potential. Now, I just want to say real quick that in this reading, things that we bring up that you already know about yourself, we can treat those as confirmations. And this entire reading might be a confirmation. So don't always look at readings as if they're predictive in nature. I think sometimes if we watch a reading, maybe, I don't know, maybe you guys already know this, but it took me a while to realize that some readings were just like confirmations. It wasn't like I had chosen the wrong pile. It's the things that we're going over were meant to reiterate something to me. And for some reason, I don't know why I feel like I need to say that today. Now, if something's brought up that's new or has just come into your realm, maybe that could be a synchronicity for you. Yeah, I don't, I honestly don't know why I said all that, but hi, I hope you guys are doing so well. So very interesting, different change of energy between pile one and you. You guys are, and I'm going to explain everything, don't worry. You guys are magicians. Okay, this is your truest potential. I think you guys are very powerful mages. I think that you guys have had a lot of really incredible teachers in your lifetimes, plural. I think that you guys are master manifestors, especially when you have all of those factors that are all about manifestation in check. For example, not being attached to the outcome and being in a very positive vibration, those kind of ideas. Now, that is your truest potential, okay? That is like one of your divine gifts is the ability to manipulate energy, to channel energy. It's magic, okay? Pure magic. That's what you guys have access to. And if that's something that's not really familiar to you, it's the ability to manifest, okay? I think that this is apparent to you, but let me just show you why I think this, okay? Because first of all, 34 is the 7, divine knowledge. The grouse represents a sacred spiral. You literally have dawn with new beginning, sextile with opportunity. This kind of like is like creation itself. And it's like it greases the wheel, okay? And then you have full moon with completion. And at first, I was like, oh my goodness, Spirit, what are you saying? And very, very bluntly, they're just speaking very frankly, I mean to say. The ability to have a new beginning, the grease to make that happen, and then for that idea, that project, that concept to come complete full circle, again and again and again. What would that make? A spiral. Over and over and over and over again. Each one of those new beginnings and completions of around the sun, for example, it creates a spiral. And so I think that you guys really do have access. This is your truest potential. You really do have access to the ability to manifest. And I don't think that you guys struggle with this at all, right? And if you are kind of firing off right away, like, yeah, I think I do, I would do a little bit of research and I would definitely stay off like BuzzFeed or any kind of like quick little short answer about manifesting, and definitely nothing that has one of those goddamn annoying, like, attention-grabbing titles on YouTube, which I feel like plagues the spiritual community. Sorry, soapbox, sorry. But stay away from those kind of channels. Research more occult ideas behind manifestation, okay? Do like real rich reading, okay? So stay away from anything that feels very superficial, because that's all that is. Because you guys have in your soul, it's ingrained in your soul. You've definitely spent time learning from alchemists and sorcerers. And for example, the grouse talks about certain tribes, for example, the Sufi, I think is what it is, who do these dances that loosely go in a spiral. And it talks about, it's fabled, I don't know, I honestly feel like it's fabled in quotes, that these people have the ability to go to the very center of that spiral and to return with any magical power, any magical power that they desire. And that's, a magician, a sorcerer, a mage. So you really do have access to this ability. This is your truest potential. You may have entered an incarnation where you feel like that's not possible. Try to let that kind of dissolve from your energy field, because you guys have real access to magic. So you might feel really drawn to work with the seasons, or the moon, or crystals, or plants, or you're sensitive to weather changes, anything of this nature. But for spirit to show up and to be so specific, I think it's really important for you guys to recognize this ability, because as the moon represents, I think you don't see your potential. And that's why this reading was meant to be so straightforward. I think it's so cool when they are like this, though. I mean, think about it. Beginning, fuel, end. Do it again. Beginning, fuel, end. Do it again, which literally creates that spiral. So I think that this was either hidden from you based on your current incarnation and the people you've lived with, been around, or you have full access and this is just simply a confirmation for you. But I think it's like, this is where you think, how can I show this? This is where you think you are. You actually have access up here, right? And so I think that what Spirit is telling me is that sometimes we focus on very small things and we also don't focus enough, or the amount of attention that requires to bring a manifestation into being. And so I feel like either sometimes we identify things are just far too small, or we go about them with a little bit too much of an indirect approach. And so what Spirit really wants to show you guys is the fact that you don't see your potential as a master manifester. Try not to get caught on that word, because it's already becoming a cliche. So you truly do have the ability to sense and manipulate magic. Okay? And another reason why I'm drawn to think this is what your potential is, is we have this palette, okay, with all the colors of the rainbow. And we have these doors wide open. And so you guys have creative ability too. With the full moon, with completion, it makes me think of the act of creation. Think about gestation periods. Okay, you don't have to be male or female or identify as either or. But there is the concept that Spirit is illustrating of creation, of the ability to make something exist that doesn't. So we're illustrating very bluntly, again, with this artist's paint palette, the ability to have a piece of paper that's white, and then in an hour from now have a piece of paper that illustrates the most beautiful romantic countryside with people dancing and flowers, and there are birds in the skies. Okay, so there's this concept of active creation. I think that you guys are artists and creatives, and I think that you guys have strong sacral chakras, so you have very potent sexual energy. And I think that you are a naturally talented artist. Now, with that being said, the true emphasis here is on that act of creation, that act of magic, because it's this middle section right here where that really that truth is really told. Because with sextile, that aspect between stars, planets, etc., what it really does, it's like lube, it's like grease on a wheel. It facilitates, it assists, it synergizes. Okay, let's just read really quickly this card. Collaborates, assists, explains, provides opportunity, synergizes, creates possibilities for, open doors, promises, brings insight to, communicates, welcomes, and develops. And so it's like you have every single ingredient within you. So your potential is potential. You have the potential to do anything that you can bring your mind to. And that's why Spirit is making this message very clear for Pile 2. It all comes down to how you focus your mind on what it is you truly wish to experience or desire or want to bring into existence, okay? It could be even just really silly, trivial things like that perfect pair of shoes that was out of the color that you wanted or that wrong size, but somehow, you let that go and a day later it shows up on the website completely restocked and you're able to order it. It can be something very silly like that, but I think that sometimes you don't take this seriously. And I'm not trying to call you out. What I'm just trying to show you is that Spirit is like, Pile 2 has a really strong innate ability. Their potential is quite literally to be able to do anything. And we have to not give them just that because they're going to just breeze past that. They're going to think that you can do anything. Oh, cool. So Zach's just filling my head with la-di-da-di-da. And that's just not true. I think this is a really cool message. It almost comes down to, it's like, yes, we got that out of the way, but now let's kind of reel into the concept of recognizing and being able to employ this act and this ability of manifesting and using magic and manipulating energy. And kind of, what could you do with that in a much broader sense? In a way broader sense, like how could you assist others? And that doesn't have to be the only thing, it's not all about selflessness, but it's like, how could you take that ability and just reach way broader, right? It's almost like, think about, I don't know why I'm getting it this way, but I'm just going to use it. An angel incarnating on Earth, but forgot they were an angel and they had superpowers. And it's like that angel might have a natural affinity to be able to do any talent, any talent they desire, never really have to struggle with learning something new that they were drawn to. And yet once that angel is able to realize that they're an angel, they have access to divine gifts and abilities and powers. And that's what Spirit is really showing me for you guys. Okay, sorry, that was a little bit long-winded, but I just wanted to reiterate that really there's a much finer detail here. It's very cool, yes, to be like, you have the ability to manipulate magic. I'm even getting a ding on my phone right now. But it's so much more than that. It's almost like we really want you to remember this so that you can do something way bigger with it. Something like a lot more. I think that some of you, I'm being really drawn to the grouse right now, might research kind of dances, sacred spirals, okay, dances. In order to reach like trance-like states that might just be very interesting to you. Okay, let me have a sip of coffee. Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, since it's very, very clear, let's kind of look, let's look further into this. Yeah, okay. So my question was, what's something exceptional about Pile 2? We have another 7, okay? And this is so cool. This is so cool, Pile 2. Do you know why? Because what this card says, this is not sabotage. Any tarot reader can disagree. That's okay. I'm the one reading the card right now. This is strategy and stealth, okay? This is cunning. This is using intelligence in a very smart way. Now, what's interesting is what's coming through is the concept of strategy, okay? Strategy is what this sextile energy is. It's the grease, it's the magic ingredient, it's the lubrication, it's magic itself, right? Because here's the concept, here's the destination. What lies in between is the strategy. And if you're going about something and just trying to get it by standard means, okay, just doing it in a very what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. I'm just going to move past that. Approaching something in a very routine way, okay? By the books is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the Hierophant, sorry. I should just tell you that. Okay? Doing things by the book, right? By the tested, tried approach. Sure, it could absolutely get you there. But you guys have something much better that you have access to. You have the ability to access strategy. And I really hope that this concept is coming through. Because if you come at a situation or a desire of yours and you use a little bit of critical thinking and strategy is what literally sets you up for success. So instead of blindly going after something or going after something in an approach that everyone else does, why don't you just take a step back from time to time and use your divine gift, which is the ability to be a magician in this lifetime, and, employ things like stealth and strategy. Because I feel like that is what's exceptional about you. You're able to identify how we get from A to B, and we can get there very quickly, okay? For example, this just use the energy of this. I'm just trying to illustrate something. We have to walk from town A to town B, or get from town A to town B. One person can walk, get there in a half hour. One person can ride their bike, get there in 20 minutes, but you took a plane and got there in 5. That's what Spirit is trying to show me. That is the best energetic example that I could show you is, taking that moment and, they just said get from A to B, and I got a pilot right next door, so I'm just going to hop on a plane and I don't even need to take my bike. And you get there literally like way so far before all the other people. And so that's what is exceptional about you. This is, I'm describing something mostly energetic in nature. That's why I'm not being super specific, but I really do hope that you understand what I'm trying to illustrate here. The Seven of Swords can also talk about secrets. Okay, we also have the moon, which also represents secrets. And I feel like because the grouse talks about reaching a different state of consciousness and, to get information or even abilities, and to bring them back into the present moment, I feel like something exceptional about you guys is that you have claircognizance. You have this, and it's from lifetimes of very important teachers and very powerful teachers. You have just this inner knowing, this inner compass. It's like you always just know how to do the thing. And I know that sounds super flip, but that's really what I mean. It's like, you just know, like whenever you're presented with something that seems impossible or you're just incredibly resourceful, that's what the magician says. And it's just sometimes we lack a little bit of focus, which is super important. You know why, Pile 2? It's because you don't struggle with feelings of self-confidence. You take them for granted. And that is injurious of itself. I think that's a word. I just pronounced it funny. Okay, so a lot of people struggle with feelings of self-confidence, self-worth. What is my talent? What's my ability? You take it's like you don't recognize the evolution of your soul, and you take it for granted. And that's what Spirit's trying to show me as well. It's almost like if you could recognize right now that you are the angel on earth, you could start doing things, experiencing things, creating magic for other people in ways that you couldn't fathom right now or before this illumination is also what's coming through. Really cool. I like this reading a lot. It's very, very interesting. Okay, so I just have a couple lenses off camera. I'm just kind of looking at them. I think we've breezed over some of them. The next one is like the ancient gift that you possess. I think it has something tied to do with reaching different states of mind, but I also just feel like it's that ingredient in you that's just part of your cosmic makeup. It's like you have that part of your DNA where it's like you really do have access to lifetimes of like planning and strategy and approaches and knowledge, and that's why you have access to what I'm going to call claircognizance. You just know how to do something, or when someone brings something to you, it is instantaneous that you come up with a solution, and it is like wildly simple, right? I'm just seeing like the most resourceful approach to any problem, and it's almost you take it for granted, and sometimes you don't even find yourself in positions where you can use this gift of yours because you take it for granted. So yeah, try not to. I just don't want you to feel like I'm calling you out. Spirit is being humorous right now because what they showed me was something incredible. I said, what is pile two's potential? They can do anything. Sorry guys, I just had a little bit of an interruption there. No big deal. So let me get right back on track. So what Spirit was showing me, there's like, what is pile two's potential? They can do anything. And that's why I'm trying to give you like a little bit more than that, because I don't want you to breeze past that, because it is complex. It really is. And it talks about someone who has done many incarnations so that when they're back on Earth, it's or whenever they decide to come back to Earth, they could be very, very useful, but they just have this inner confidence where they don't feel like they know where to apply that. And so what I feel like Spirit is showing me, because this energy almost reads as the magician, and the magician really does talk about focus. And so what I feel like Spirit wants to show you, if I could look through all the lines, read between all the lines, is try to have a moment where you get very quiet. And you may not be in a position in your life where you feel like you need this, but for some of you, try to get very quiet and get down to the bottom of what you want to experience and what you want to do. And if you feel like there's a higher calling, tap into that message. Okay, cool. I'm gonna leave that behind. I hope if you guys are in pile 2 still, please leave a comment below saying that if this makes sense. I really hope it does. Okay. So let's see where you can stand to be more present. I think it has to do with that magician moment I was just talking about, focus. So for pile 2, please, where can they stand to be more present? Feels like the top card. 9 of Wands. I'm not getting anything from that. Just give me a second, you guys. Oh, there's something in there. 9 of Cups. Okay, so 2 9s. Like to see that. This is very, very curious, and now this energy does make sense, okay? Because what we have right here is wish fulfillment. Isn't that creepy? This reading is so synchronistic, it's blowing my mind. So you have wish fulfillment, feeling very content, right? It's almost like this person has so many awards and accolades and dreams accomplished. He's sitting here a little bit smug, but they're behind his back. So does he even realize them, or is he going after them just in order to create more of them? So that's, to me, the energy of taking something for granted. Now, this is not a negative thing, but it's almost, because I'm asking, where could you stand to be more present? I feel like it's in what you want to experience. I think if I could again swoop out a little bit and read the outer edge of your soul, I think your soul really is here in this incarnation to be able to just have an incarnation on Earth that you like an experience of the 3D that you like. I feel like for a really long time, or many incarnations, maybe they're not all on Earth, but you've had many incarnations where it's almost like you were the understudy. You are the understudy, and it's like in this incarnation you're supposed to be the prima donna, because it's you've already had access to this potential in other lifetimes. It's just you haven't embraced it. And I think that you take all of that knowledge you have, all of that learning, all of that skill of being a soul who can manipulate energy fields and energy in general, a true magician. I think that you have in many lifetimes kind of taken that as normal, right? But it's not true. It's not true, Pile 2. You really have a way more evolved, just clear, deep understanding. And because your understanding is like planted in your DNA, that inner knowing of just how the world works, how the universe works at large, maybe not all of it, but you have like a really deep intrinsic knowingness to your soul. I think that you think everyone else does, but I'm here to remind you that you're not. Okay, so where can you stand to be more present? I feel like really, what do you want to experience? Because you can have anything in this lifetime, anything. If you want a life of luxury, just for the sake of luxury, there you go. Once you've identified that, use strategy, okay? Because there's something about taking a road less traveled on, an unorthodox approach to getting what you want. You don't have to do from A to B. You don't have to walk there. You don't have to ride your bike there. You can fly a plane there. Oh yeah, we have the grouse that's talking about flight. That's cool. Okay. This is a really cool message. So as long as you know what you want to do, you can bring that into existence. I feel like you guys are very goal-oriented people. And I feel like there's just a slight, maybe you have a lot, you really do have a lot. And maybe it's about using your ability as a master manifester, as a mage, a powerful sorcerer. Maybe it's about sharing that. There's so many awards and accolades here. Maybe it's about sharing that with other people or getting other people to realize it when you see this in them. Okay, that's something that's coming through. All right, so let's move forward. And let's see how to bring out your talent. Okay, how, let's use a different deck. How can you bring out your talent or skill? These lenses, I feel like I always create a lot of them, and as I channel, I answer all of them. So we'll get an answer here, but it feels like as your reading is getting a little bit longer, that we may have already answered this through many different ways. So Pile 2, please. How can they bring out their talent or skill? Organization, LOL. Yeah, that makes sense, right? We have Mercury, and we have the sign of Capricorn. So to me, it's kind of like the energy of really Mercury communicating your goal, your steps, right? I was just saying that you guys are very goal-oriented people. In the 10th house, or I'm getting this 10 as the 10th house, so career and reputation, next to a hand which has a gold bangle on it and a hand filled with wheat shafts or grain. Gold grain, which talks about abundance. And then over here we have a lot of cattle and sheep, which also talks about riches and wealth. So what I'm feeling like is that no matter what you want, it's you get to have it in this lifetime. And I'm not, as you know, if you're like someone who listens to this channel often, that's not my tone or approach in any of my readings. I really care about a lot of a deeper, more occult or esoteric meaning behind everything. But it's important from time to time, lose that thought, it's important for you guys to recognize that you really can have whatever you want in this lifetime, because it feels like that's what your soul wants to do this time. And for many of you, it very well could be abundance. Okay, but how do you bring out this talent and skill set? From getting quiet, I know not all of us like to hear that. From meditation, it's focus, right? If I could put Mercurial energy and Capricorn energy in a slightly different angle, instead of organization, I would say focus. I would say a list. I would say identify a goal, okay? And so it feels like once you have an action plan in place, there's nothing you cannot bring into existence, right? It feels like that's the energy of the Seven of Swords. That's your action plan. So, how to bring your talent or skill out? It's more focus, more organization. It's all about the approach, okay? If you know the destination, okay, and you have that desire, that middle step, that middle ground is already intrinsic to your soul, right? You already have the magic within you to facilitate this. It's just about kind of getting down to like what truly is it that you want, okay? Now, let's just pull back for a second. The last things I want to do is some reoccurring messages, signs, or feelings from your higher self or your spiritual team that they send you often, okay? I think that sevens are important to you, okay? And these signs, these symbols, these messages, these are just guidance to kind of get you to realize. I think that you guys have heard that you are master manifestors before. Okay. I think that for some reason a rainbow is important to you, or a paint palette as well. The moon could be very significant to you. Spanish moss could be significant to you. I think that the Californian poppy could be significant to you as well. Now, what I'm going to also do, just for some final signs and symbols, is reach into this box and pull out a couple. Again, these are reoccurring messages, signs, or feelings from your higher self or your spiritual team. Let's take this many. Okay. Dragonfly. You guys get this one a lot, I bet. I really feel that for pile 2. Dragonfly talks about illusion because its wings can be very clear, but when the sun hits them right, they're iridescent, right? Kind of like that message of the rainbow I was speaking about. Did you see that? This gives me ghosts. This gives me specters and spirits. Okay, so you guys might get little glimpses from the spiritual world because you worked there a lot. You have spent a lot of time in the astral realm. You really like that aspect of existence, okay? You spent a lot of time with very knowledgeable, very powerful mages, okay? Let's keep going. O. Kind of like a circle. And I'm reading that as infinity, actually, because we have the 2 O's over each other. Kind of put those together. The infinity symbol. Ride. Okay, horses could be significant to you. Drama. Maybe acting. Good excuses. Not really getting change. And artist. Okay, that makes sense. So good excuses is definitely the energy of like a silver tongue, okay? And this kind of stealthy 7 of swords. And change with artists. I'm getting more artists, okay? So those, if you don't like to call yourself an artist, maybe you actually know that you are an artist. Maybe you've always felt drawn to dabble more with art and creating. I think that unlocks memories for you. Okay, pile 2, this reading was a little bit long. I want to thank you guys so much for being here, spending a little bit of your time with me. Of course, I do book private clients, and you can book your own private psychic reading. You can find all that information down below. It's in the description box and the pinned comment. You can get readings with me, psychic readings over the phone, or if you want a recorded reading with a tarot theme perhaps, you can get an audio, text, or video format of any of those. You can find, again, that information is down below. And if you've made it this far into the video, you can give me a big thumbs up. Thank you so much. It really does help support my channel, helps me go far in the land of YouTube, and I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, wherever you are in the world, and until next time, stay divine. Hey, Pile 3, welcome to your reading. I hope you guys are doing so well today. Let's take a look at your potential and get a better idea of how best to channel your divine gifts. Okay, so your cards are Iceberg with Submerged, the Beaver with I almost called it the magic number 22, very spiritual number 22. You have the Ascendant, you have the Rainbow with Blessings, and you have Armadillo. Okay. So I'm going to probably just talk about your aura or your energy field or the energy that I'm picking up the most, okay, about you guys, and we'll loosely go about this reading. The nuggets will be revealed throughout, such as the ancient gift you possess, something exceptional about you, etc. Just going to just start talking. It feels like that's the best thing for you guys. Have a very strong outer shell. You hide a very soft core, and you hide a lot of your greatness. And that's going to be the reason why is different for each of you, okay? But there's something very beautiful within your soul, and there's a real beauty about being vulnerable in this lifetime. But we live in a very caustic world or environment in this incarnation here on 3D dense Earth, okay? And I feel like you guys are very like soft souls. And I don't mean to be condescending at all. By soft, I mean pure and honest and joyful and harmonious and happy. But your expression is best outside of the body. And so I feel like your spirit form is your best form. And you are like the most beautiful ambrosia for mankind. Your essence, the true essence of who you are, Pile 3. It's like your core, your aura. I know those are two opposite opposing ideas. But there's something about you that's so beautiful and light, but you're like the hummingbird that dies when it's caged, okay? And, but as well, the hummingbird flies away from discord, any sort of disharmony. You bring true beauty to the world, but there's something about your sweetness being very savory to everyone and everything, humans, but also negative entities who like to prey upon you. And I'm not trying to scare you at all. I'm just describing to you who you are energetically is what I feel like as we try to narrow in on your potential. There's something about being a diamond in the rough. There's something about having to go through a little bit of something in your life in order to reveal something. If I could just be very blunt and speak about a little bit of your karma here, Pile 3, you're meant to sort of realize that you're the only one who can save yourself. You're the only one who's responsible for how you feel. Even if bad things happen to you, you're the only one responsible for what has happened to you. And I'm not trying to lessen anything that might have happened to you in this lifetime or any other lifetime, and I know that's a hard pill to swallow, and I can only speak about that because I am someone who is experiencing terrible things that have happened to them by other people. So recognize that I'm coming from that place of genuine compassion and love when I say those things, but I feel like you guys have to a little bit go through something hard, trying, or challenging in order for you to awaken, okay? And I think that's what's very difficult for you in lifetimes, and I'm just getting a ding now, where you kind of a little bit expect it to be soft and light, just like where you come from, just like where you express yourself most authentically and naturally. But that's not how it is here. That's not how it's here on Earth. I'm so sorry, you guys. I gotta pause for a second. I'll explain. Just one moment. Thank you, guys. Sorry, one of the foster kittens outside was playing with a hornet. That is her third hornet today. I don't know why. It must be cold. All the hornets are dropping to the ground to kind of, I guess, find themselves. I don't know, but that could have ended disastrously. So yeah, I feel like sometimes you guys, you volunteer here and you just don't know what it's going to be like. Yeah, going through the veil of forgetting is very difficult for you guys, but it's like you are a little bit, this serum that humanity needs. Spirit is showing me someone getting an injection, like a vaccine or something like that, okay? And it's like, that's the cure. I'm hearing The Cure by Lady Gaga. You might listen to The Cure by Lady Gaga or read the lyrics. There might be a message in there that is specifically for you, pile 3. But I'm seeing like it's glitter, purple glitter inside that vial, inside that needle. And it's very hard, I'm hearing, for humans to get that. And it's basically when you, pile 3, are able to stand authentically. It's the most difficult for your type of soul. Because your type of soul has this beauty in it that's just very pure. It's just very pure. It's could almost bring tears to my eyes, and it's very rare. And it's very special, okay? But it's very delicate too. And so when you're dropped into the 3D Earth realm, it's really rough on you, and you hide almost everything that glitters about you underneath the water. You bury it in deep inside you, okay? And you put out an exterior around you. Now, this might not be the way you originally think about someone having walls up, but I just feel like the world kind of can really cause you to shy away from being true to who you are and letting your essence get out, right? Because it's very hard for anyone to get a shot of you, to work with that weird metaphor or image that I was shown. It's very hard, but again, it's like the cure, okay? Now, your potential, it's very strange. It's almost, and I don't know why I'm getting this now suddenly. It's almost like, it's like you're the cure for humanity, okay? So we're just going to go based on my belief systems, right? You don't have to share them, but this is my reading. And this is what Spirit is showing me. I just feel like in the battle against good and evil, there is the human race, and the human race has been tampered with and meddled with throughout time in an effort to hopefully get them to choose the path of righteousness and light and love, right? Concepts like that. And it's almost like there's something in the DNA that needs to be healed, and it's like that's what you guys do when you're able to stand in your power and to own who you are and all the, quote, weirdness that the world makes you think of you, makes you think that you are, okay? Yeah, let's just keep going with this. So there's something about putting down something, okay? Putting down something, a project of yours, a creation of yours, that you just started this and you lost hope in it. You lost sight of it. Thought maybe it was a little too weird, a little too far out there, maybe not developed, something along these lines. Lost the confidence in it. And it's like you keep all your great ideas inside you, but no one can benefit from them that way. And I see this happening frequently in incarnations, and maybe throughout a single incarnation, where it's like all that magic, you keep it within, but it's like it's not necessarily, and I'm not trying to call you out, it's not a soul standing authentically and glowing. It's like you have a hard shell around you, so even though you're glowing inside, no one can see it or be benefited by it, right? It's like this hard shell, and normally when someone stands authentic in their power, they can just sort of be a positive impact on Earth by shining brightly and inspiring other people. But it's almost like you only have that glowing glitteringness when you're on your own, because that's when you feel the safest and the most protected, when you just have yourself. And it's a little bit the message I wish it didn't sound so harsh, but it's almost like you have to sort of toughen up. A really awful way to say this is to suck it up, right? And I hope you've never been told that before. And that's not what I'm really trying to tell you, but I am trying to get you to recognize that a soul who understands that they're only robbed of their energy when they give it is the message that's coming through. Here's one that's difficult. No one ever takes your energy. You give it. And if you can think of life through that perspective, I think that could help you fortify yourself and not have to live behind this barricade. Okay? No one can ever take your energy. It doesn't work that way. You give it. Okay? Now, again, I'm not trying to harp on anyone. I'm just trying to show you guys what I do as a psychic. I really read the energy of a soul. Okay, that just seems to be what I do. So let's move forward. Submerged. The most is underwater. All of it, basically. Okay, 90% of it is underwater. And I feel like sometimes you try to make life happen. You're an idealist. Me too. No big deal. You're definitely an idealist. You try to make life happen in a very specific way, in a very, the fashion in which you wish to experience it by. But sometimes you just need to hear that's not how it works. Okay, so we're in the 3D realm, we're in the earth realm, the land of humans, okay, and things are done by them. And we're here to encourage or to inspire. But ultimately, we can't fight certain systems that are in place, for example, needing to have a job or a source of income, okay? Even if the future that you desire for yourself is off the grid, that's fine, but you have to have a way to make that happen. No one's going to do it for you. Gosh, I really hope these messages aren't coming out too harshly, but this is the essence that I'm picking up on. It's almost like you don't recognize how beautiful you are and how much purity and love and magic that your soul has to offer the world. You keep it inside you to protect yourself because you have this very vulnerable, authentic, soft, pure, loving core. And you don't want anyone to ever touch that. But as a result, no one ever gets a piece of that. No one gets to experience that. So just a really quick message that flew in was the idea of being a creative writer or a songwriter where you don't have to have your face in public, but that could be a way where you let out some of that ingenuity and creativity and honestly just genius that other people should really be able to benefit from. I just see you keeping that inside, right? So something submerged, basically all of it submerged. The concept of building with the beaver, okay? But also being open to alternative ways and paths and people helping you. This concept of doors opening, right? One door closes, one door opens, right? And a blessing. So what I feel like the spirit of the universe is showing me, you guys, is that what is beneath it needs to be built because it opens doors, creating the blessing or the future that you wish to experience, okay? And that all has to do, the key to open that door is your vulnerability, what lies within, that beautiful core, that essence that you have of your soul, the potential of your soul is so beautiful. It is just like, I'm just seeing white doves take to the air, and a beautiful white sky. It's just very clean, maybe some soft pinks in there as well. Okay, so I'm also just getting this idea of you designing boundaries, ways of thinking, even like that example I showed you or tried to illustrate that energy is not taken, it's given, right? So in certain situations when you're around people, perhaps just in your mind say or visualize a barricade between the two of you. So you don't remove yourself from that situation. You don't remove yourself from listening to the other party, but you also don't feel like they're extracting or taking anything from you. We have to sort of develop this way to be without feeling like the world is out to get us or out to rob us, because I feel like you sense something super beautiful about you. You sense something that's very unique and rare and not common. And I just, the worst thing that could happen is that you keep that to yourself. Right? Especially if we're coming from the perspective that we incarnate to share our gifts, and to be, the biggest gift is to be a gift to the community around you, right? Other people around you. So let's move a little forward in your reading. I kind of want to take a look at where you can stand to be more present. I guess you really sticking out. God, this card wants to show up like every single day in every single reading on YouTube and outside of YouTube. Okay, Seven of Pentacles. And things that you're building, right? To me, it talks about someone who has really built something, but it's like experiencing a minor setback or delays, okay? Things of that nature. So another message that's coming through, regardless of the lens I'm trying to put on this, Spirit is telling me that there's something you've built in the past, okay? There's something you built but put down and it never finished it, okay? It's the genius just lies within, sleeping or dormant. And in this incarnation, we're supposed to let that genius out on center stage, okay? I think that there's something about you that we all want to see. I think that there's something very ingenious to you, okay? But you got to let down your barriers. The beaver talks about a different approach, right? I think maybe you've been going about something in a certain way and only thinking about it working in that certain way. But what if there was a different way that it could work? And what if there was another way and another way and another way and another way and another way? And what if one of those ways was even easier than the first one that you thought of? Okay? That's what's coming through. A rainbow only comes after there's been rain, right? Maybe a storm even. So the concept of no rain, no flowers. And so it's the concept of some sort of like emotional event or understanding, maybe setting boundaries like we were discussing, creates the blessing. I feel like you're really meant to experience the world, but sometimes we roll up into a ball and we really hide ourselves from the world because we just simply don't like it. But that right there is rejecting reality, and you're going to be here for an entire lifetime. And the reality isn't that the world is out to get you. The reality is we're mistaking giving our energy. And so right now, we actually just need to understand that energy is not give or taken from us, it's given. So stop giving your energy when you don't want to. Okay? So where could you stand to be a little bit more present? I just think in when things move slowly, or maybe in work. Let's just get something else. I didn't really like that card. Okay, Spirit's really wanting to talk about the body or finances. Okay, so Four of Pentacles, look at you conserving everything, far removed from the city. Got your feet firmly planted on both of these pentacles, got your arms clutched, very, very protective of your energy, holding on to it, even crouched over, huddled over all these, and yet what escapes you, what is out of your attention, what is out of focus, is another pentacle up here. It's actually crowning you. It's even higher than the others, which means it's even more valuable. But it is out of your sight. You have no clue that it's up there. And the only way that you're ever going to find out what that pentacle is, what that talent is when you're able to create these boundaries within yourselves to where you feel like you can express yourselves fully. Because right now there's something that's completely out of focus because you're holding on so strong to one approach to life. This could be your career, okay, or some sort of path that you've tried to build for yourself. Some sort of creative project that you've attempted to birth, to get it through to the publication phase, whatever that might look like for you. You're holding on so tightly to that approach that we never get to celebrate that success. We never let it go out. It's almost like we're coming up with all the ways that it won't work, and so we never get to release it. There's something about really loosening your grip a little bit, and doing so, it creates the blessing. Right? Because if we could bring what is up, from the depths, if we could find out, if we could reveal what is submerged and build that, it opens doors for us, creating the blessing. And it all stems from being vulnerable and setting boundaries. I know I've already said that, but I like to see Spirit speak so plainly, okay? I also think it's kind of very beautiful to see us holding on so firmly to us, far removed from the city. And yet the true magic, there's an entire pentacle up here that we could crown ourselves with. It feels like the crown jewel. It feels like a crown, right? I feel like there's something that could be incredibly impactful, a role on center stage, whatever that looks like to you, a real true blessing, if we could just loosen a bit. That's where you could stand to be more present, is to not hold on so tightly to your approach and to ways of doing things, to be open to other people assisting you and helping you as well. Let's figure out how we can bring out your talent and skills. Yeah, if you really could remove yourself, and I feel like no one wants to hear a message like this. I really, but I just have to speak with what my esoteric knowledge of the tarot is. These binds and this limits and these barriers, they're self-imposed. Okay, they don't have to exist. These binds are so loose you could just wriggle free and take the blindfold. This is coming up with all the ways that it could not work. Okay. Or all the ways that you're not unique, or all the ways that you're not special, or ways that make you feel like you're quote unquote weird. And the reality is that weirdness, that softness, that vulnerability is what other people in the world could stand to see. Remember, you're the cure. Your potential, pile 3, is you're the cure. And I don't want to burden you with the weight of curing humanity's sickness, but that's what I get. And I know that's so esoteric and so out there, but that's the kind of energy that I like to deal with. So how could you bring out your talents and skill set if you could free yourself? Right? If you could free yourself. I feel like it's so synchronistic. I'm wanting to put it over the rainbow, right? And it looks like it's really gloomy here, really rainy. But once you free yourself, it feels like the sun comes out and there's the rainbow, the blessing. What's very interesting is what you're wearing right here. This red-orange gown is right there in the Ascendant, in the Outlook card. And here it's kind of really looks like heavy, like dense velvet, and it really drapes on us almost like this really oppressive gown. But here we've got a beautiful sweetheart neckline. It looks like it's made of silk. It looks a lot more flowy and light and beautiful, and I feel like I just want to see you slip into something like that, a little bit more beautiful and lighthearted. The way to bring out your talent and skill set is to free yourself from all of the mind, all of the ways that you think that you're not good enough. You collect those instead of recognizing, not even that, because you guys recognize that core you have, that true beauty that's very unique and rare. It truly is rare. I know that you guys sense that, and it feels like you should collect more ideas around that to build inspiration instead of collecting in all the ways that you might not be able to express yourself in the world, or you might not be received in the way that you think you should be received, because the reality is you could be received a lot better. And I feel like we're doing that. We're making a pro and con list. We're just collecting the cons. And remember, that is a product of not necessarily intrinsic to your being. That's a product of being a soul who's best in the ether, but being placed on the earth. Okay, it's very dense here. There's a lot of different mindsets and self-limiting beliefs and just people who have negative ways of thinking that can be imposed upon you and can collect on you. And I think that we have to be able to free ourselves, but it comes from recognizing that we have a choice at all times. We always have a choice to respond to how our situation is. We always have the ability to move forward regardless of anything happening in the past. It's the realization that you have to free yourself. You are the one person who can free yourself. Under the deck, we have the Wheel of Fortune that just keeps wanting to climb out. And it's exactly the energy that I'm picking up on. A true, genuine shift, right? Once we wriggle out of these, reveal what's been submerged, okay? Allow that to be built and brought out into the light, creates a massive shift for you. It's also, like I said, karmic in nature. That's what the Wheel of Fortune says to me as well. So let's look at some reoccurring messages or signs or feelings even from your higher self or your spiritual team. So the reason why I wanted to take a look at this was because I just feel like you guys are going to be able to call out some synchronicities, and that could help you identify a path forward, okay? So the first one that I'm getting is like a key. I feel like you guys really like ornate keys, or it's either a locket or a key is what I'm being shown. Think about a locket that you would like wear on a necklace. I think rainbows could also be very significant to you, and of all the spiritual numbers, I think 22 is important for you guys as well. Let's look for another couple signs and symbols. You may really love the beaver, and you may really enjoy an armadillo, maybe? Yeah. You might like mermaids, angels. Horses for some of you. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Signs and symbols. Okay, we will pull you. My goodness. The lion. I think the lion could be significant to you guys as well. All right, we're going to wrap up with some tiny messages too. So let's give this a good shuffle. Oh yeah, there are two lions right there. I think the lion is very significant to you guys. Maybe you really liked the Lion King. Okay, so let's pull out some final messages from your spiritual team, your higher self. Let's get this. Okay. Now, maybe not all of these are going to be synchronistic or resonate for you. Shine, so the sun or anything that glitters or gold, okay? Especially glitter, because I was seeing purple glitter for you guys. With the grain. Mix it up. Egyptian. You guys might really be drawn to ancient Egypt or why is it Lemuria is coming through as well. I think ancient Egyptian artifacts are very interesting to you. Sphinxes are coming through as well. Teacher. Vintage, you might like vintage things, trinkets, kind of that nature, and believe it. Okay. So these are all the little tiny messages from Spirit. Again, I think that these could mean something to you guys. They could serve as synchronicity as well. And that brings me to the end of your reading. And I really hope you liked it. I know it was a little dense. It was very heavy. But I feel like it's because, and again, I don't want to overburden you. I feel like it's because your role is really important, right? I don't think I've ever come across a reading where, let alone done one, where someone's potential is coming out as the cure for humankind. I know that's a lot. And I really hope that this was useful. And thank you for spending, again, a little bit of your time with me. Of course, I book private clients. If you'd like to book your own private psychic reading, you can find that information down below. There's a link or an email. You could also purchase a reading much like this. There are a bunch of different tarot readings that you can purchase. Different themes like love or life path, or the next 30 days, and those can be in either audio, text, or video format. And if you've made it this far into the video, you can give me a big thumbs up. Thank you so much. It really does help my channel. It helps me go far in the land of YouTube, and I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, wherever you are in the world. And until next time, stay divine.